All right, so we begin. I'm going to... Hello. Hello. All right, so we begin. I'm going to make me some spicy garlic mayo. First thing, you need a container, the immersion blender, and the blade that actually fits in there. So here goes nothing. Pop on the lid. Step one, we need an egg. So a cracketh ye egg. Make sure you don't get any shells in there because that'll ruin your day real quick. You get rid of that egg. Use the eggshell. Here, I got some garlic. One huge clove, a medium clove, two tiny ones. I like it garlicky. I'm gonna make this kind of a spicy mayo, so I want the gochujang to give me some of the spiciness. Grab a little spoony spoon. And just a little. I don't want it too overpoweringly spicy. So, come on, get out there. A little bit on the fingers is alright, because that just means I get to snack on a little bit of gochujang. Probably not the best snack. It's more of an ingredient than a food. Let's put that aside for a minute. Pop it over here. A little bit of mustard. Usually I would use mustard powder, but today I feel like using actual mustard. I don't know why. The only reason the mustard is there is it helps the emulsion. It keeps the water and the oil from separating. And then oil. And the only real measure you need is for every single egg, you want about 250 mils of oil. Less if you want it thicker, more if you want it thinner. This is a 500 ml jar, so I'm going to go to about there, little under halfway, give or take. I'm not really going to measure because I don't feel like measuring. Simple as that. Yeah, let's go with about, maybe a little bit more. The oil is going to make it nice and thick. To that oil, I'm going to add just a little bit of rice vinegar. You could use lemon juice, but I don't have any right now. I didn't think that far ahead. So, just a splash. Yeah, let's go with a little bit extra splash there. Not too much, not too little. You can always adjust later. Now, a little bit of salt, because salt makes everything better. Hopefully I didn't make it too salty, because it's me. I'm also going to add a little bit of MSG. Pumps up that savoriness. And to make it a little bit, need a spoon. A little bit of sugar. Give it some of that Kewpie mayo sort of taste. A little bit of sweetness there. Pop that aside, even here for a bit. Now for the fun, noisy bit where I do the blending. The blending is where all the technique comes in, really. Yeah, alright, so. Cable gets in the way a bit here. So basically what you want is the head of the blender to get all the way to the bottom, and all your solid chunks you want inside the head. So the garlic, I basically want the garlic to liquefy inside here. Yeah, a little bit of cover, just to make sure nothing splashes. Now, that first little blast, you can see it's already turning into mayonnaise down there. And so now that it's blasted, then you just kind of lift it up slowly while blasting some more. Now for the extra little fun bit. I mean that sarcastically. Sometimes there's a little bit of oil that sticks to the top. That's just because of the shape of my immersion blender. So I'll just kind of stir that around a little bit. Put the, come on, Put the head back on and give it another little blast. And as always, taste as you go and make sure everything's working out right. You can see it's good and thick. Tastes pretty good. I think it needs some salt. I didn't add enough salt. So add a little pinch. Whenever I add salt, I tend to add a little bit more MSG because I like the two together. It does definitely need a little bit more acid, and it is coming out a bit thick, so I'm just going to give it a little splashy splash. Try to get that liquidy stuff closer to the bottom, and then we blast again. You see how thick it is. Make sure I grab it so I don't cause a giant disaster and catastrophe. This is just me being my OCD-ishness self. I just want to make sure to get all of it in there. Not wasting it. A chicken put some extra energy into laying that egg. Nope. Alright. Now just one final blast of blending and that should be done. Start at the top. Alright. That is it. When you do it for real, it'll take much less time, but I'm doing it and trying to talk to a camera very badly. This is why I don't have a TV show. So now let's get a whole bunch out of the inside. I just want to make sure I can taste it and see if it's perfect now, so that was a little bit on there. Yeah, that's pretty much perfect. So that, my fine feathered friends, is mayonnaise. Cheers, have a good day. I gotta clean up now.